All right, guys, so I just want to say thank you very much. We just hit a whopping 7,000 subscribers. I guess 10 is going to be the next mark, so we're on to 10K, and with the season up ahead, we should be there pretty quick. I just wanted to get people motivated. I see too many people, and especially the new generation, there's less and less and less of us, as you all know, that are into this. So that's what the whole reasoning behind my channel was. Motivate people. I would like to see more of the younger generation getting involved, and I'm doing the best I can. I never had social media before this. I never filmed footage. I didn't even own a camera other than the old 35mm cranks that you drop back off at the CVS or ShopRite, and they just, you know, develop it. So this is totally new. A lot of the footage you're going to see from my first video to now is a learning curve. We've come leaps and bounds, as you can tell by just the quality of the content. I'm learning. It's self-taught. I'm editing. I'm producing. Was doing the music. That's gone. I don't like music anymore in my videos, so I never bought a CD in my life. Why would I put music in my videos? I ruined 90% of my videos, in my opinion, but that's another story. So what I'm covering today is how I harvested 3 public land bucks. Just connected with Catskill buck on a solo overnight deer hunt with my crossbow. It's starting to snow. Temperatures are dropping. Stay tuned. I couldn't be happier. I mean, this buck does it all for me. He's got mass, he's got a huge body, and he's got a hole in his horn. Set a goal, and I actually finally conquered it. It took almost 3 years to get it on film, to get decent, not even good, but decent quality. Now we're up in the big woods. If you don't know what big woods are large, vast chunks of land that you could walk for miles and miles and miles and never bump into a person. It's rare that I do see a person out hunting. Most of the time we'll never bump into property lines, depending what state you're in, but it's big woods. You could get lost. People get killed every year by getting lost, and hypothermia is #1, starvation and injury. In the regions we go, unfortunately, we do see search parties, and every year pretty much someone passes because of where we go are just vast chunks of land in the Adirondack, Canada, Maine. It's different. It's not like hunting downstate. It's not like hunting rural areas, suburbs. And I'm not saying that's a wrong type of hunting. I'm saying the type of hunting I'm doing to solo film it. These deer are not being fed. They're not patterned out. Sometimes on trail cams, which I just started getting into trail cams the last few years, you might only see the deer once in 3 months. And then all of a sudden again, he pops up. It's just something that's very difficult to grasp. So big woods hunting is completely different. It takes a lot more time, a lot more scouting, but it takes more skill. 1, it takes skill not to get lost, and 2, it takes a lot of skill of how to find these deer. So when we're out and I'm going out, I usually am solo. If I'm out with my brother and we're really packing it in 4 or 5 miles in or further, we're looking for a lot of things. We'll just get out there in these mountains, we'll drop cameras, we'll check them 2 months later and see what's going on, which coming up, I have a video that I was going to hold off till I hit 10,000 subs because I really want the video to get out. I have some really freaky stuff going on trail cam. That's all I'm going to say. Definitely going to need help from the drone community. Going to need help from probably paranormal communities. I know it sounds weird, but I don't know what to make of it. And a few people I showed have no idea. None of them. Professional hunters, everyday people, everyone's the same thing. Hair goes up. I have no idea what they are. Stay tuned for that coming out. 10,000 subs. Then I'll release that video. For 3 years, I've been out filming, trying to learn the camera gear, sun angles. Like even now, it's very hard. I don't run audio because it drains the batteries too much. The cold, we're hunting sub-zero temperature. Cold kills batteries like that. Camera arms, what type of camera? Is it manual focus or autofocus? Do they have the motion control? All of this takes a big play into a factor of filming. So what you guys are seeing is content that's like, oh, that's crap, or this isn't good. Well, the reason why is I don't know what I'm doing with the filming. I know what I'm doing with the hunting, that I can guarantee, but I have no idea with the filming, and now it's becoming, you know, it's starting to fall into play. I'm getting better at it. So that's a big part of it. And I passed up, I want to say in the last 2.5 years, close to 9 or 10 bucks that were all 8 or 10 pointers. And I passed up in one season, I passed up 10 actually, 9 I think, just because I didn't have them on the camera shot. I did not have them on the camera shot and I passed them up. That is a major no-no. Like if you're public land hunting, you're big woods hunting, and you have a good buck, and you're satisfied with that buck, we have a 3-point rule in some areas you have a 4-point rule. You take that buck because that might be the only buck you see. And many people that I have spoke to over the years never even killed a large buck in their entire life. So now you have this point rule, and I'm passing up all these big deer, and these people are like, why are you doing that? That's crazy. So I put a lot of heart, a lot of dedication into doing this. So here on the first buck that we got, after a 3-year wait, I harvested a few other bucks on video. You can see it on camera, but I just wasn't satisfied because I knew I could get a bigger buck. I've done it, obviously. I've done it in the past. I just wanted to do my best this year. And I told myself, I made a deal with myself and God. I said, if I kill a big, mature whitetail on camera, I will go back to work, because I literally resigned just to do this. I just had enough and said, I need to do something proactive in the outdoor community. We're losing it. I mean, that's the reality, guys. If we don't do it now, tomorrow will be gone. So that's something you got to look at. The kids today just don't care because they're being bombarded by all this on camera. And that's something that we need to really look into and take care of. So this is what my channel is. And the first buck, I ended up going out with a tent. I took the crossbow, which I'm not really big with the crossbow, but for filming, it is a lot easier. I prefer bow. I love archery. I have squirrel videos that I'm out archery hunting squirrel. I just enjoy using a bow and arrow. I have other videos that I'm shooting flying frisbees in the dark with a homemade bow that I made out of hickory. Archery, for me, I grew up doing it from a kid, like 8 years old, 7 years old, shooting bows. I really enjoy it, but I took the crossbow. It was easier to film, hiked way in this mountain, set up a tent, and I ended up having this buck come by. I found a good scrape, I found rubs, I found a good heavy run, and I knew a buck was gonna come there. I knew it was gonna happen. So I ended up having this crossbow held for like, literally, I think it was 13 minutes on dry time when I was editing. And I started to shake so much that I said, it's either I lift up and shoot, or I drop the crossbow and they bust out no matter what. I did so much effort, and with the tent and camp, even a 6-pointer, I would have been happy, because it wasn't about the size of the rack. It was about the experience. So I decided to harvest this 8-pointer. When I lifted up to move, he busted out and he got to about 50 yards. And I put that crosshair right behind his shoulder. And as he stopped, now the camera's gonna look different, but what happened, as he stopped, I popped the shot, and I ended up hitting my buck and getting him successfully, tracking him down. And it was with the tent. It was so cool to be able to camp out overnight. We had rain and it froze, which, because of that, now I bought already, I'm gonna do hot tenting, and I got the tent, the stove, I got everything. We'll be out more remote this year. That's just something that was very difficult. I went out and I looked at the sign. I said, okay, here they're coming. But it was like on the night of that I walked in and I got the buck. It just happened to be that way. Going forward, I went out to Pennsylvania, and I also hunted Jersey. Jersey was, I didn't have enough time, and I was driving 4 hours a day, leaving at like 3 a.m. It was just too much for me. So this year, if I hunt Jersey, it'll be a little different. Went out to Pennsylvania, and I went out the week before the season opened. They had like a 3-day bear season. So I went out for that. What I noticed was I couldn't find good rubs. I found almost no rubs, 1 or 2 rubs that were like that big. Usually I like to find a heavy rub and then I'll hunt that area. Didn't find trails. I couldn't really see much for trails either. There was like almost no, it was like dry ground. It was a lot of laurel and thick. So I just kind of went through and I found a location, to me, in my opinion. I used to hunt a lot of laurel. I used to sneak up on deer and track them in laurel. So I'm familiar with it. And in my opinion, that spot was the pinch point. So I set up my camera there. I set my stand up. And my mistake was I didn't check my camera. I checked my camera after I shot my buck. I shot my buck, a beautiful 8-pointer. So happy. I'm getting him European mounted. I can't wait to get that back, as well as my large buck. And we have a coyote fur. Thing is, that camera, the mistake was I didn't check the camera. I wish I had a reader on me or something, because that buck had a monster with him. A nice drop tine buck. I've never seen a drop tine buck in the public land woods. So my mistake was that I would have held off and tried to get this drop tine buck if he's still around. I don't know, but I'm not even sure if I'll have time to hunt Pennsylvania this season. It just the way things are going, you know, pretty much I played the wind, and it just worked out that this buck happened to come opening morning, and I got him, and a long 7-hour drag. I couldn't have been happier. But, you know, that was just by knowing how terrain looks. A lot of time you'll have hills, and you'll have swamps, and you'll have bogs or rock hills, and you got to know how they pinch around them, and that's called your pinch point. When they funnel in, that's where you set up on and you play the wind. Pennsylvania was good to me this past year. Hopefully, if I hunt it again, it'll be good again. Now, the biggest buck that I got was this one on film, and it was crazy because I almost didn't get him. 2 things happened that I'm blessed with. 3 things happened, actually. The first thing was my The zipper broke, and it was cold blowing wind coming right into my chest. And I took my safety pins from the scent wafers and I capped them up. That allowed me to stay for another couple hours. The buck was coming through. First he came this way chasing, I think he was winding a doe because he was alone. And by the time I got the camera up, it was just bad footage. I didn't think I had him, and I passed him up. The buck was huge. I mean, it was a gorgeous buck. Public land to shoot that, unbelievable. He went by, and I was crying. 2 hours later, didn't this buck happen to come back trailing that doe? I couldn't believe that this was going on. I mean, the dedication, first off, it was just, I was so angered at myself that I did not get the footage. I didn't get it. So it's dedication, and that's what allowed me to get him on film. And 2 hours later, he came right back following a doe. I had the doe come out. I was all ready to go. And here he is with his nose down, and you hear him grunting. And he was grunting on her tail, and I tried to stop him, I think 2 or 3 times, wouldn't stop. I shot him and he went down. Literally fell out of the camera angle and bounced back in. It was a miracle, like, to get that footage. I was so ecstatic. And then I had to put him down in the neck. I wanted to make sure I didn't lose him. I didn't want him to run off. I didn't want anything else to happen. I just wanted him to go down, and that was it. So put my big buck down, and I was so happy I went back to work. The thing is, with this big buck, to get him, the dedication that went into it was 3 months of hiking. I think I did probably close to 300 miles. No joke. I burned through 2 pairs of boots, high, steep mountain climbs every week, all different locations, dropping cameras. And I was hunting actually 2 other bucks that were even bigger. I had a confusion. I thought that I killed the biggest buck. We had a big like 14 pointer, we thought, somewhere in there, and we thought that was the picket fence buck we called, but it wasn't. So we ended up killing a complete different buck I harvested that morning. That wasn't that one, and it wasn't my big 9-pointer that I've been after. I've been after a really big 9-pointer, but I only saw him 3 times total. I think twice in velvet and once out of health. That buck was so elusive, but the mountain range is so big. It's like a 30-mile chunk of land that has no roads, no trails, no access points, and it's very difficult to get in and out. But that is what it takes. It takes dedication, cameras, dropping them all over the place. So this year is going to be a lot different. I'm not going to have the cameras out. I tried a little bit here and there. I have not been successful with cameras this year. That's the reality. But I'm just going to hunt how I've always hunted. I'm going to hunt hard. I'm going to do a lot of still hunting. If we hit snow, which it might be because it's cold, I'm going to be tracking. You know, I'm going to just put the miles in and hunt hard how we've always hunted. I'd like to see my brothers and my father get a buck on film. We'll see what happens. We also have a lot of other things in mind, like lever action hunts we want to do with iron sights, or just lever action hunts. Kind of take it back old school as how I started. I love the lever actions. I love my pump. So we want to do stuff like that too. I'm going to be going over a lot more content, different gear that we use, knives, gut hooks. This is a big topic on my field dress tips and tactics video that a lot of people were saying, you know, the gut hook, so, and the urine sac. So these are things I'll be covering this year before the season. I have a lot of new gear, and we're going to be covering that too. I'm going to be going over bow, middle of the season, mid temperatures, and then heavy season muzzleloader. What kind of gear I'm going to be using, backpacks, pretty much all gear, how to drag them out. I have a video on that too, but I bought a deer cart, so we'll be looking at that too. But there's a lot out there. But the biggest thing, if you could take away from any of this, is get out there. Get out there and do it and do it and do it. Now, I've been doing this for 30 years. You know, I've been out over 30 years now, 31 years with my father. Thank God I had my father, my uncles, my family, friend. Like I said, we had groups of like 50 people, so we'd be out squirrel hunting early season, and we're looking for where the deer are running trails and where we could put our friends and family, and we would have everybody successful, and we just learned so much information on this. It's like I could put it out there, but I'm not even covering a piece of the knowledge that we have. You guys are seeing pieces and portions of it, but there's so much knowledge. If this channel keeps growing and becomes something bigger, I'd love to share more of it and eventually do a school where I could take a lot of the younger generation and we teach with their elders. It's important to take care of your elders, but it's important to have them pass on their knowledge to the family and have somewhere to go and be together with. So that's where we're headed. I've never asked anybody for anything on here other than just share the content. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for anything. I'm fully self-funded, self-sponsored, so please just share it out. This video was just to get you guys all hopped up for deer season. How happy I was and how grateful I was to the good Lord that I was successful with 3 large bucks. And I just want to do a quick kind of overlap of it, and that's what this video is. Stay tuned for more deer hunting content. And I'm going to be going through the differences between still hunting, tracking, posting, different tree stands, Millennium versus Summit. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming, guys. So I'm going to try to roll out a lot of hardcore deer content geared for whitetail hunters, because the United States of America has deer hunters. Then we have elk hunters, bear hunters, moose hunters, and we love it all. So I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for what's coming next this season. By the way, if you haven't seen my other deer hunting videos, go back to my playlist. I have a deer hunting playlist. You can check that out. I have moose hunting also. Make sure you check it all out. Good turkey hunts. Check it all out. Subscribe, share it out, and tell a friend. I appreciate it.